Art lovers here? Anyone here love the Russian Museum Hermitage? That gets the St. Petersburgers clapping for real. Like, yes, we take art very seriously here. We're not like Muscovites. My favorite painting in the Russian Museum is the Sadko painting. For those of you who don't know, it's a man who's underwater, and there's a line of these beautiful mermaids, and each one is just a different, looks like a different kind of woman. Like one looks like she's from China, one looks like she's from Central Asia, etc. And all the while, he's looking above the water at the simple Russian peasant girl who he misses. I just think, what would my Sadko painting look like if I were underwater? What would the parade of women look like? What would the first one look like? Obviously, it would look like Lady Liberty, the Statue of Liberty in mermaid form is the first one. Of course, patriotic American. That's the first woman that would be in front of me. Now, maybe the next one, I don't know, if you asked my friends, they would probably be like, who are you kidding, man? It's going to be your ex. Your ex-girlfriend, the one that tried to brain you with the frying pan. You still got it bad for her. That's who you love. All right, fine. Who's going to be behind her? I think that my search history on my internet browser says it's just going to be MILFs. Yeah, MILFs. That's my Sadko joke. I was on stage once, I was telling a joke about Scientology. You guys know about Scientology? You know this cult is very big in Hollywood, really weird. So in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, there's a museum called Psychiatry, an Industry of Death. And it's actually a museum created by Scientologists. And you go through, and it shows you the history of psychiatry and all the terrible things psychiatrists have been responsible for. And the whole point of the museum is to convince you that there is a conspiracy. There's a small group of elites who have funny names, their own language, and so much power that they control the world. And you know who these people are? I was telling this joke and a guy goes, the Jews! No. Psychiatrists. The punchline is psychiatrists. And he's like, but the Jews! Okay, we're not doing that. You guys are a much better crowd already, I can tell you that. But they tell you some interesting things in this museum. They say, did you know that in Nazi Germany, they employed psychiatrists? Did you know that in Stalin's Soviet Union, there were psychiatrists? Did you know that Osama bin Laden's right-hand man was a psychiatrist? What's funny is he actually wasn't a psychiatrist. He was like a child, he was like a pediatrician or whatever. But I feel like if you really wanted to go all the way, you should say something like, did you know that Judas Iscariot was a psychiatrist? Happy Easter, everybody. Happy Easter. Russian women are beautiful. Clap if you agree. Not all of the women clapped, which is about correct. You're never going to get anywhere without solidarity, ladies. Russian women are very beautiful. They do so much to be beautiful, though, don't they? They dress well. They do their hair well. But some of them take beauty a little too far. They take it a little too seriously. Some of them go and they get these cosmetic operations, these surgeries, right? You see them all the time. I love a woman's face. I really like noses, but I don't know if I've ever seen an organic Russian woman's nose in the time that I've been in this country. No disrespect. I'd like to see what God gave you, not what some doctor gave you. What I'm saying is, I don't love the idea of nose jobs. I actually don't like the name nose jobs. That sounds vaguely sexual and gross. So let's not call it a nose job, right? The medical term is a rhinoplasty. Okay, so I don't really like it when women get rhinoplasty. That also sounds bad, though. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. Rhinoplasty, it's like so cold and scientific. All right, we don't like nose job. We don't like You know what? Okay, let's call it a special nasal operation that solves the problem, right? Because we all know what it is. Still, we all agree that it's gross and disgusting and probably a waste of money and leaves a lot of people hurt and deformed and disfigured and is really just taking a toll on humanity. But we feel better if we call it that. Yeah. You ever notice that whenever you mention that feminism means equal rights for women, a man will always say, that means I can hit girls, right? Like, what is that? Ever since I was a kid, that was like the first thing, when I was growing up in the 90s, they'd be like, boys and girls, we're going to treat boys and girls equal, so don't bully the girls. Boys, be nice to girls. And guys would go, well, I'm just going to punch some bitch in the face. You're equal to me, I'm going to punch you. Never really grew out of that. I don't know what that was about. Okay. All right, so it's Easter. Jesus is back. Jesus is back. Who wants Jesus material? I got some Jesus material for you. I think we can celebrate Christ. No, I don't want to make fun of Jesus. He's been through a lot. His mother, though. I think Mary must have been one of the most annoying people back in Bethlehem, back in Nazareth. Because just imagine, she probably wasn't the only new mom who was proud of her kid, right? Can you imagine the other women coming up to her saying, like, Mary, how's your son? My son just started walking. And Mary is like, oh yeah, on water? Any Tupac fans here? Hell yeah. I don't speak a lot of Russian, but when I went to, I think I was in Rostov, I got in the car with the taxi driver. Yeah, now I remember the story. Got in the car with the taxi driver. He says, where are you from? And I said, American. He said, oh, yeah, obожаю rap. All right, cool. I know what that means. And as we're driving along, he says, я хочу жить в Калифорнии. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I live in California. I live in Los Angeles. They have a lot of information about psychiatrists there. And then he says, я люблю Tupaca. And I thought to myself, I've taken Russian for how many years to understand this sentence? It's not Tolstoy, but it's good. I'm connecting deeply with this guy. Я люблю Tupaca. Who's ever heard that sentence before? Just think about that. That's amazing. Pronouns. Oh God, I hate the pronoun jokes. Comedians are always like talking about this shit. Like, hey man, I want to know if you have a penis. Really? I would much rather know your pronouns than inspect your genitals. I think programmers are weird. It's one of the only jobs that pays. That's the only class of people that stayed in Russia after the war began. Still recording now? Okay, that's fine. Programmers are weird. They invent stuff that nobody asked for. They invent smart watches, smart refrigerators, robots that can do stuff that we don't need done. I think it's very strange that this is a profession that pays so much, and these are the things they make. They go, no, it's awesome. You can talk to your refrigerator now. I don't want to talk to my refrigerator. I like talking to people. And programmers are like, no, I'm introvert. I don't like. Talk to fridges, good personalities. I can make ice. I can make it do colors. It annoys me when people complain about their parents neglecting them. They complain about how their parents didn't show them love. They say, I just didn't feel seen. I didn't feel held. I think, well, yeah, that was bad for you. But I know so many people whose parents just beat the shit out of them, molested them, threw them in the closet and scared them, maybe put them in a room with a bunch of snakes or made them go to church every Sunday. There's a lot of people who would have benefited from less attention from their parents. So my point here is just, look at things from someone else's perspective. And if you can't do that, what would a fridge do?